Hello everyone. We will continue our discussion of Class 9 Social Science book NCERT Democratic Politics Chapter 1 Democracy. This is part 2 of the series. Earlier we saw the definition of democracy as it being a form of government where rulers are elected by the people. To understand this definition in a better way, we will now be discussing the bare minimum required features of democracy. There are broadly 4 features that we will be studying as shown in the diagram. First feature, elected leaders take major decisions. Second, free and fair electoral competition. Third, one person, one value, one vote. 4. Rule of law and respect for rights. So let's take our discussion further. Our first feature of democracy is that elected leaders take major decisions. To understand this, we will analyze different situations. Let's just see what happened in Pakistan. After independence, Pakistan was governed by a democratic government. But the general led a military coup in October 1999 and became the head of the government, the president himself. A military coup is an illegal attempt of military organization to unseat incumbent leadership. Can you point out the problem here? The first problem is removal of democratic government. The second problem is that a person who is not elected by people, who did not hold consensus of people, headed the government. Third, all the power of governing the country resided in a non-elected leader now. Next, what happened was, in 2002, he carried out a referendum. A referendum is a general vote by electorate on a single political question that has been referred to them for a direct decision. The referendum granted him a 5-year extension, meaning he now continued to be president for next 5 years. Here again, can you point out the problem? The head of the government was chosen and yielded powers without holding any proper legit elections. Referendum was conducted to bypass healthy and fair elections. Legitimate elections that would have otherwise reflected the real voice of all people was not considered to be necessary. Moreover, according to media and other reports, referendum was full of fraud and malpractices that again defeated its very purpose of reflecting real choice of citizens. On top of this, what happened was Pervez Musharraf started expanding his powers. Like he can dismiss national and provincial elected assemblies. Moreover, also started controlling who would get elected to these assemblies. And even their work was checked and controlled by National Security Council, which was dominated by military officers under his control. After the system was in place, elections were held to these civilian assemblies. Can you again point out the problem in this system? There is concentration of power in one person who is not elected by people. He became the absolute power authority with no one to keep a check on him. Moreover, the elected leaders in national and provincial assemblies were not the real rulers and did not have significant decision-making powers. The elected leaders became the formal rulers while the non-elected ones became the real rulers. This is not called the people's rule, which is an essential element of democracy. A similar thing happened in Syria and Mexico. We will discuss about Mexico later. What happened in Syria is that it came to be dominated by only few party rule. The Baath party and its small allies were only allowed. No other parties or opposition were allowed in political scenario. Can you identify the problem here? The right to people to choose their leaders is curtailed. People are not granted real choice to choose their representatives, as only members of Baath party and its allies could contest elections and come to power. Similarly, China also faced the same situation, that only Chinese Communist Party could rule. It was under one party rule. There is this figurative sketch of crown of leaves on democracy that conveys the situation that democracy has won but is not accepted, meaning formally there is democracy in country as there are elections being held, but in real practice true democracy is not granted to people as they are not given real choices to choose, or free choices to choose their leaders to govern themselves on their behalf. We will stop our discussion of this part here. For the next part, that is part 3, please click on the link given in the description box below. If this video was helpful in any way, please like, share, subscribe and comment. Thank you for watching.